My whole world was turned upside down in a matter of a couple of hours, and had to start dealing with the fact that I had cancer. I knew that potentially I could get sick, and I wish I would have known that I had options out there to protect me and make it easier on me if in fact I did get sick. Being around my daughter and my wife was a great comfort when I was sick, and because I had to go back to work, I wasn't able to keep myself in that environment as long as I would like to have.
Having never thought about critical illness insurance, Paul Jonovich found himself in the unfortunate position of struggling financially while he battled his cancer.
When I first woke up after surgery, obviously I was disoriented, and they told me pretty well right away that they found out I had cancer, and I remember being pretty emotional about that. When I found out I had cancer, emotionally I went into very serious, concerned about what was going to happen, worried about my family. At the same time, I knew that, things were going to be okay.
For Tyler Higgs, comfort came in knowing he had purchased critical illness insurance, a decision that let him focus on his recovery, not on his finances.
Can you see them?
This is the story of two men, both in their 30s, both in what appeared to be good health, and both looking ahead to a future made bright by the smiles of their young daughters. Yet these two stories have one important difference. When diagnosed with cancer, one man had critical illness insurance, and one man didn't.
One of the most difficult things for me to get through when I was sick was being away from my family. Having to return to work days after a treatment, I found myself behind a desk on my own, and those were some sad times.
Chemo on Monday, sick on Tuesday, back to work Wednesday. He was lonely, but he had no choice. Throughout his course of treatment, this was Paul's routine.
So fast that none of the little boys in her class could catch up with her. And they were all...
The dark times were always a battle of potentially not getting better, and at the same time knowing that I hadn't secured my family's financial future. I really wish that I would have discovered or had some options presented to me so that it could have made this whole process a lot easier for me. I'd love to have been able to just fully wrap my head around beating the cancer and not having the challenges of finances and financial future constantly entering my mind. There's certain things in life that we can't deal with. Cancer is one of them. We can't decide whether or not we're going to get it, but we can decide how easy it's going to be to deal with it if it does strike us, and unfortunately I didn't put those things in place.
With a 3-month-old at home, my wife having to take care of her, it was pretty tough. You're in the hospital, you can't get out, they can only come to you, and I just was constantly saying, I'm going to make it through this, I'm going to make it through this. I've got to get out of this hospital so I can be there for my family.
Tyler's rare form of cancer required a lengthy recovery period with several unknowns.
When I was told I had cancer, the critical illness insurance was one of the first things that popped in my head. I remembered thinking, okay, I don't have to worry about this other stuff because I've got critical illness insurance. So if I make it through this, I'm going to be okay. You know, I don't have to worry about getting back to work right away to pay for the mortgage and pay for everything else. I've got a cushion.
With his finances taken care of, Tyler could focus solely on getting well.
I knew that I had a pool of money that I could use to do whatever I wanted with in relation to my health, to getting better. That put aside all my other worries and let me focus on me, on getting better, on what I needed to do. It also let me spend time with my family, which was a huge part of the healing process as well. Because I tell you, there's nothing that motivates you to get out of the hospital more than a young daughter.
No one likes to think about critical illness, but the reality is that it could happen to you. And if it did happen to you, which story would you want to tell? One of financial struggles and worry, or one of peace of mind?